outrage are at all-time highs throughout the mainstream media. Not only are they afraid of the Orange Man, not only are they afraid of Elon Musk, the media is also afraid of you. The mainstream media knows that normal people no longer trust them, but now they are trying to use that lack of trust that we have in them in a desperate attempt to convince us not to trust Elon Musk. And they damn sure don't want us trusting the Orange Man. Over the past couple of weeks, I have been reading a lot about the Dallas Mavericks. 2 weeks ago, Nico Harrison, he was arguably the most trusted executive in Dallas. You can make the case that he was trusted more than Mark Cuban. He was damn sure trusted more than Jerry Jones. Mavs fans used to say all the time, "And Nico, we trust." They said it with good reason, because Nico Harrison, he has done a phenomenal job building a championship contender in Dallas. Traded for PJ Washington, who was critical in their run to the finals last year. Traded for Kyrie Irving, who literally carried the Mavs last night against the Warriors. Kyrie Irving is unbelievable. Now, the dude is definitely unique. He likes to talk about oppression. He likes to sip vegan juice while looking out at the flat landscape of Dallas and explaining why the entire earth is flat. But on the court, Kyrie Irving is an absolute magician. 2 weeks ago, Nico Harrison, he was arguably the most trusted executive in Dallas. He spent years building trust with the fan base. He spent years earning his respect. And with one decision, with one late night announcement, years of trust immediately evaporated. That is how fast it can happen. Decades of trust, it can be eliminated within seconds. With the mainstream media, it's a bit different. Instead of building trust for decades, the media, they have been lying to us for decades. Just look at all the lies that we have been told by the media in the last 4 years. Remember over the summer when the media tried to convince us to vote for cackling Cam Harris? This woman is amazing! America's falling in love with Cam! They came up with all these doofus polls that supposedly proved Cam's popularity. We polled undocumented migrants who are likely to vote in gay Georgia. When competing against Lucifer, Cam Harris receives 53% of the votes. Prior to June of 2024, remember how the media was trying to convince us that John Biden was the smartest guy in the room? Last winter, John Biden, he met with some of his pretend friends in the media. He wanted to warn his pretend friends about the devastating effects of climate change. During the meeting, John Biden predicted that it was going to be hot during the summer. Once that prediction came true, the media, they were convinced that Johnny B. Biden was a philosopher. After the election, when ratings throughout the mainstream media were circling the pooper, they lied to themselves by claiming it was viewer fatigue, when the reality is, people finally decided to turn off their garbage. After decades of lying, the mainstream media is once again asking us to trust them. Right now, Elon Musk is investigating wasteful spending in Washington. Translation: Elon Musk is basically investigating alleged corruption. He's asking questions like, why are we giving $3 million to a rapper in Gaza to write and produce anti-Semitic songs? Why are we sending millions of dollars to Guatemala so Sanchez can become Sandra? Elon Musk is uncovering billions and billions of dollars in wasteful spending, and he is releasing his findings to the general public, which is causing the unknowns at CNN to have an emotional meltdown. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. Today on the second channel, talked about Luka Doncic boosting ratings in the NBA. Also talking about this false narrative that fans of the Dallas Mavericks are boycotting the franchise. So if you haven't already, head over to the second channel and subscribe. Yesterday morning, Scott Jennings, he was on CNN with Kate Bolduan. Casey, who in the hell is Kate Boulder? Is she the lady that was married to that Bart guy and they had 8 kids together? They even had a reality show, Bart and Kate Procreate. No, I think that lady's name was Kate. Who cares? It doesn't matter what her name is. The Kate I am talking about. She hosts a morning dump on CNN that no one watches. The other Kate with the 8 kids, she actually knew how to draw an audience on television. But yesterday morning, Scott and Kate minus the 8, they were on CNN discussing Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Tuesday, the Musker and the Trumper, they held a Q&A in the Oval Office. Now, from 2021 to 2024, this was the office used for nap time with Johnny B. Biden. Today, there's actual work that gets done in the Oval Office. But the Musker and the Trumper, they took questions from the media about the wasteful spending that they were finding with USAID, how your tax dollars are being spent to combat misinformation and Uranus. I actually got a letter from the IRS yesterday claiming that I owe them $200. I'm sure my money will be spent on Preparation H to soothe the bruises caused by misinformation and Uranus. Kate asked the American hero Scott Jennings what he thought about the session in the Oval Office. Now, normally when someone asks for your thoughts, they're asking you to speak and they're supposed to listen. But Kate kept interrupting Scott Jennings, and at one point, she tried to emasculate him by telling Scott Jennings, "You don't ask me the questions, I ask the questions. I'm Kate Bolduan. I drive a Dodge Stratus." Watch for yourself.
I take him at his word that he wants to be transparent, that he invites transparency. Obviously, everybody in the English-speaking world media is looking into him every single day. I would have no fear if I were him about Congress. He hasn't been
asking
questions and looking into it. I think they are.
The definition of it is he's not been on the front end of this so far. He's not been transparent. I mean, there may be
they are making routine announcements about the things they are finding, and they are inviting questions about the things they are finding every single day.
But by definition, he's not being transparent. They're not providing data for the things that they say they have found evidence of. They just aren't.
You just don't believe it. I mean, they are providing information. You just choose not to believe that it's true.
I don't think anyone should just believe that it's true. Do you think that people have taken kickbacks of tens of millions of dollars from USAID?
Here's what I think.
Do you believe that?
I think every year.
No, but don't accuse me of just like.
I'm just asking you. Do you believe that there is any level of fraud, waste, fraud, and abuse in the government?
No. That's not what you're asking me, and I'm going to ask the question.
How in the hell does Scott Jennings do it? How does Scott Jennings go to work every day surrounded by deranged maniacs? You know what I would have done if I was a guest on CNN and Kate Bolduan told me, "You don't accuse me, you don't ask me questions, I ask you questions"? I would have said, that's fine. I'm going to walk off set. You can ask questions to the other people here, but there's no one else here. Yeah, that's fine too, because there's also no one watching your show. Kate Bolduan kept complaining about the lack of transparency. She kept claiming that Elon Musk can't be trusted because he's not being transparent. Correct me if I'm wrong here. And look, I am no expert. I am not familiar with USAID, but haven't we been given transparency? Hasn't Elon Musk provided the data that Kate is complaining about? $8 million sent to Sri Lanka so they could train their journalists to avoid binary gendered language. $10 million was supposed to be spent on meals, but that money, it ended up in the hands of Al Qaeda. $25 million was sent to something called Delawit? I don't know if that's a person or a city or another planet. Whatever the hell it is, the money was designated to design green transportation. I guess Delate likes the color green, so they received $25 million to paint their car. The list goes on and on. Now, I am not saying that Elon Musk has been fully transparent, but to claim that this investigation lacks transparency, that is complete bullshit. Tuesday night, Andy Cooper, he had a panel on his show that included former New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu. I think his name, Chris Sununu. Maybe he is related to Alexander Sununu, that doofus lawyer on all those commercials chasing the ambulance. Me personally, I was actually somewhat surprised when I saw this clip. I thought Andy Cooper was on the verge of losing his woke welfare at CNN. Last year, Andy took a break from polishing the turd and spent the summer polishing his resume. But I guess Andy is safe. I guess his woke welfare is secure. Andy Cooper is still being given an 8-figure salary to draw a 6-figure audience. Andy and Governor Christie, they were talking about Elon Musk. Now, Governor Chris, he was trying to explain to the panel what transparency actually means, but the symptoms of stage 4 OMB, oh, it's been bad! The symptoms of stage 4 OMB took over and Andy Cooper lost emotional control. Instead of talking about Elon Musk, instead of talking about transparency, Andy Cooper started talking about his favorite vegetable, the cucumber. Watch for yourself.
Musk gave 7 specific examples off the top of his head of where the corruption and fraud were. He was talking about a contractor that had a 3-month contract. He was paid for 20 years. He was talking about welfare benefits that were being paid to someone that was technically 150 years old. He was talking about line items in the Treasury that had no justification.
There's no any actual, like, he doesn't present any actual evidence.
Well, he's standing there in the Oval Office. Do you expect him to come in with 10,000 pages? And I have to be clear, to complain about this administration about transparency, when this president takes open questions on a daily basis, yet Joe Biden didn't show up for a press conference this 6 months, is insane. Well, these guys are being extremely transparent. They don't have to sit there and take the questions, but they do. It's all on the website. It's all out there.
It's some of the details that have come out, like the $59 million spent on luxury hotels. It's actually not.
You're talking about the FEMA money that was abused for migrants? That was.
Yeah.
FEMA money for migrants, that's okay now?
No, I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's okay. Don't put words in my mouth.
So would you stop that? Would you stop that process?
Don't be a dick.
Was that Jeffrey Toobin on the panel? The wanker spanker? The same Jeffrey Toobin that was spanking the wanker on a conference call? I am glad to see Jeff as being a bit more professional these days. Throughout the entire segment, I noticed that Jeff's hands were kept above the desk. Andy Cooper eventually apologized for calling the former governor Rick, but I don't know why. That was the most authenticity I have seen from Andy Cooper in years. Why are you apologizing for being authentic? The agenda is clear at this point. The media, they are trying to convince us that Elon Musk cannot be trusted. They are claiming that Elon Musk wasn't elected, which is true. That is true. But neither was cackling Cam Harris, and the media still tried to convince us to vote for her. They're claiming that the Trump administration lacks transparency, even though this administration is a hell of a lot more transparent than Johnny B. Biden. The media is doing everything they can in a desperate attempt to turn normal people against the Trumper. Why? Because from 2016 to 2020, it worked. From 2016 to 2020, demonizing the Trumper was big business for the mainstream media. CNN was drawing record high ratings. But it's not going to work this time because normal people not only don't trust the media, normal people have also found people they do trust to give them the news. Give me your thoughts on this. Tempers flare at CNN as they try to convince you not to trust Elon Musk. Now, I'm not saying Elon Musk is 100% trustworthy, but I will say this. I am at least willing to trust Elon Musk a little bit. I will never, and I mean never, trust the mainstream media. What about you? Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.